Boom, we're live. No fancy intro tonight. We're just right into it. Welcome to the Sylvania Round Football Show. You see up in the corner, Coach Tyler Vann always with us. You see down in the bottom in his dapper, Coach, how he got on a nice hat tonight. Y'all got to give him some love for that hat. And then over the corner, the man of the hour, the reason we're here, Styles Huge. So we'll get to Styles. How you doing tonight, Styles?
I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all?
We're good. We're good. Let's start with Coach. I was talking to the girls basketball coach today over at Marion County. Coach, they got a 3-7 for their semester, and we were talking about some wins may not appear on the record sheet, but 3.7 GPAs, winning scholarships, those are the wins that coaches take away, just like W's and L's at the end of the year. And right now, you're sitting on a young man that won several awards recently or was rewarded several scholarships. What does that mean to the program for you as the head coach?
That means a lot to us. You know, we try to, tell them all the time about how important grades are, and we stay on them. You know, there's a few you got to stay on more than others. And this young man here, you didn't have to stay on too much. He is where he's supposed to be, doing what he's supposed to be doing, and there was no one more deserving than he was. But I think it's good for our program to have a guy that played football for us to win the Bryant Jordan Award, and so we're proud of him, and we've been proud of him. Whether they won it or lost it, we'd have been proud of him.
That's awesome. Howie, did they give you any academic scholarships at Sylvania?
No, I had a shield for the lunchroom. That's all I got.
That's what you got. I don't know. Did they named the boys' locker room first stall after you, right? Howie Chaney.
It was actually.
Oh, you're breaking up on us, buddy. Maybe I get you back in a second. I was trying to insult you a little bit. I couldn't even do that. Styles, tell us a little bit. First off, tell us about your football season last year. I think you were a senior last year, if correct.
Yes, sir.
And had Coach Vann coming into his first season under him. What was your year like?
Well, it was definitely different for sure. Going from running the wing tee to spreading it completely out was something to get used to, no doubt. And it was my first year actually starting at running back, so it was a pretty big deal, honestly. And having as good of a year that I did, I feel like I accomplished a lot, considering I only started that 1 year on offense. So overall, I think it was definitely my favorite year of football, no doubt.
Well, tell us a little bit. What's your class schedule like, and what are you trying to pursue after high school?
My class schedule, I have all my basics. Obviously, I have to have ag because everybody's got to have ag. You got to have some kind of goof off period. And after high school, I'm looking to get a business degree, and I want to maybe either one day run my own business or maybe go into real estate. That's always been real interesting to me, and I feel like there's way more opportunities in business and real estate than any other kind of degree and stuff like that. So, yeah,
that's awesome, Styles. Coach, what's the academic support program around athletics like? Do you all have a certain study hall that everybody takes together, or how do you work that into your program?
So we don't have study hall, but they have started something this year. We have a period where you kind of come together, and it's a period kind of give your report cards out and stuff. But if you have a guy that's falling behind, that's for school. If one of our guys is in that, of course, they have to pay the price for missing workouts or football or whatever that may be, and then have to make that up. But really, we try to provide them with, like, we've been getting on them more this semester than we did last semester, but like our junior high and stuff, we have guys that are struggling in class. But what's the reason for you struggling? Are you struggling because you're being lazy and not turning something in? Or are you struggling because you're having trouble understanding the content? And if that's the case, then we need to sit down and have a coach help you and give you more time to do it. And I've talked to them about that numerous times, but it's hard to do, and it's definitely different in high school than it is in college. You know, college, you have X amount of study hall hours they want you to clock in, and in high school, it's totally different because your first period and last period athletics on the field for practice, and then you're trying to get home, get homework done, rest, go to sleep, and then wake up and do it all over again. So it's a big difference in college and high school, and we have to do it a little bit different. I wish we could make them have study hall every day, but we just ain't got time in the day to do so.
Howie, how is it? I mean, I know when I played sports, it's if you had a C average, you were eligible. The only thing coach cared about back in the day was, were you eligible? Could you clear the TSAA standards? I think coaches like Coach Vann and many of the coaches now hold kids to a different kind of standard. Do you not see that even in your child that's in the band?
Yeah. Back when I was in school, I have a C average, just like it was with you. Ever the report cards came out, whatever sport you're playing, that coach not automatic like it is now, to where you can actually, pull up a system and see what everybody's grades were. So we had to turn to show them, and but yeah, even with Jen pull her stuff up, and I'm sure stuff up too, and make sure she's got a good average. So yeah, a lot of things have changed since then.
All right, Styles, tell me a little bit about the Bryant Jordan Award, Scholarship Award. Now, I saw the pictures. I saw Coach Vann with you. I saw that. That's neat that you got a coach that cares that much. That really meant a lot to me, as just to see Coach with you. But is this something you had to apply for, or how did the process work for you?
Well, at every school around the county, they nominate 2 people. And then whoever wins that wins the county. And then whoever wins the county wins the region. And whoever wins the region goes to the Bryant Jordan, ceremony. And I think there was 104 people that were in my class of Bryant Jordan, people. And they all got to bring 10 people with them, 10 guests. So whenever you got chosen, you could interview for more scholarships, not interview for the Embrace Alabama Kids Scholarship, which is where you don't live with your biological parents. You're either adopted, you live with a foster parent, or, you're just living with one of your friends. So I interviewed with that, and I ended up coming up as a 3A winner. And, I fell a little short, but the guy that won, the whole state most definitely deserved it, hands down. The guy had top class and had a smile on his face. He's a great guy.
So not to get too much into your story, but sometimes it sounds like you had to battle a little bit to get where you are in the classroom. You had to want it. So
sure.
Tell us what it's like. You had to set your own pace in the classroom, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Do you think you're a good self-motivator?
Yes, sir. But there was a lot of people around me that are also pushing me to a higher standard. And, I see some of my friends around, I seen their lives, and I was like, well, I want to live like that one day. Or I want my kids to live that life one day, and not, what I'm going through. So that pushed me as well. And, seeing their grades, I had to compete with them. It felt like a competition. I always wanted to make better than they did. So that motivated me a good bit. And just being able to see people around me wanting to see me succeed and just push me, that was, it played a big part in the whole thing.
Coach, when you're teaching competition, I think you're teaching what he's talking about right there too. It's not just competition on the field. It's competition in the classroom, in the weight room, in life.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. About got on this rant today. Society today has taught us that we're deserving of something just naturally, because we're supposed to be happy. People are supposed to pat us on the back, and everything's good, and your life's not supposed to be difficult. Life's not supposed to be hard, but life is hard, and people have it a lot more difficult than we do. Also, people are more blessed, but nonetheless, the people who have everything, they have difficult circumstances in their life as well. Do you just lay down? Do you quit? Do you roll over? Do you keep fighting? And just like on the last set of the last rep, do you just skip the last rep because it's difficult, or do you roll over and rack it because it's getting a little bit too hard? So, life's difficult. And Styles is, Story, he's had it tough, but I've only known him for a year. I wish I'd known him for 13 years from the time he started school. But, he's a perfect example of just fighting and putting your head down and going to work every day, and he'll be the first one to tell you, guarantee you, every day wasn't, he wasn't thinking, man, I just got to keep going, got to keep fighting. Some days it was tough, and he just had to make it through it. And he did, and I'm proud of him.
Styles, we all are proud of you. I was touched by your story. I'm going to be honest with you. And Howie, when I first asked you about Styles, the first thing you brought up was his personality. Styles, you ever thought about getting in the media?
It has creeped in my mind just a little bit. It has. A lot of people have told me that I'd be great for it because, I'm naturally good at public speaking, as everybody would say. I have a good voice or something. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about it.
Hey, we started podcasting in your living room. That's what me and Howie did. Howie, you got a question for Styles you'd like to bring in, or coach, either one?
Yeah, Styles. Who was the first person that you wanted to contact?
I wanted to contact my grandmother for sure. I mean, as soon as I won the award, I had to call her because she was my rock. She stepped in when my parents wouldn't, and she took care of me from start to bitter end when she had a stroke my freshman year. And I mean, all the way up to that point, she was always there, always made sure I got to practice on time, got to school on time. So, and she's in a nursing home. So she wasn't able to, come to it, and I had to call her as soon as that happened. Had to.
Give her a shout out, Styles.
Patsy Hughes. She's a great one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What was your reaction when you found out that you had won the award?
Well, my principal was supposed to tell me, and the person that I'm living with, his mom works at the school as well. And she had asked me, she was like, "So have you heard any good news today?" I was like, "No, not that I know of." And she was like, "Well, I guess he hadn't told you." And she was like, "You won the Bryant Jordan Award." I was like, "No way!" And I was flipping out. It was really great. It was great.
Coach, we talk a lot about your 5 non-negotiables, your 5 principles. When you came up with those, did you think about the weight room, the football field, or life in general? Because it seems like they apply to all phases of life.
I would say just in general, like you need all 5 to make it. And, it takes one to have the other 4. You can't have one and not the other ones to be successful. I think you need all 5 of them. And the biggest one's accountability. And I know we talked about that a lot. And that's my favorite one. If I had to pick one, my favorites, all of them's my favorite, but accountability sticks out the most. Like if you don't have a program and you don't have, like, you have to hold yourself accountable first before you can hold other people accountable. I think we talk about that a lot because when you're out in life, you're not going to have people standing over you holding yourself accountable all the time. Like you're going to have to hold yourself accountable. People, you can't always rely on people to hold you accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable in here, but you need to learn to hold yourself accountable. So that's something that we preach a lot, is because you don't have a job one day and your boss is going to want you there at 7 o'clock every morning. And there's going to be a couple mornings you're going to be late. When your boss gets on to you, you just want to pout, roll over, quit, or you don't want to step up and start getting there on time. Because again, we have people that we recently had guys that's left the program. Like, that's fine, but this ain't going to be the hardest thing you face. And once you quit once, it becomes easier to quit in the future. So just keep fighting. And no, I ain't gonna get on no other rant.
Styles, when you had this first-year coach just coming into the program, he painted those 5 negotiables in the weight room, because when he was showing me the weight room, he was like, and it just stayed with me. When you first saw those 5 non-negotiables, what was your thought?
I thought that, this guy lives by those 5 non-negotiables, without a doubt. He always comes in on time. He holds everybody accountable, holds the coaching staff accountable, holds the team accountable. I mean, he does them all. He shows what he does, and by leading that way through example, it led the team through it, and they all believed in it. So I believed in it pretty quickly. I lived it through life, and that was what I lived by.
That's awesome. Howie, now, y'all know I'm going to talk good about Styles, but let's get into him as a football player just for a minute. You got to see the young man play a lot of football this year. Tell me about Styles Hughes, the football player, Howie.
Absolutely. Styles head on it. He was a great linebacker for the Rams this year. Going all the way every time. A silent leader for the team, not just because he was a senior. The way he performed on to the whistle echoed, not to the whistle, but to the whistle echo.
Howie, we're having a hard time. We're having a hard time hearing you. I got the gist of what you were saying. Are you on earpods by chance? Because something's not connecting completely.
Okay, I'll log out and come back on.
Okay. So Styles, what I heard him play is you played to every whistle. You played hard. Coach, can you expound on that a little bit too?
Yeah. I was told he was going to be one of our better players, one of the leaders on the football team. And then we get in there, we get in the fall camp. You could tell in the weight room he was one of the guys. And we get in the fall camp, and, naturally I knew he was pretty good defender. I watched him on film. Didn't get to see him run the ball a lot. I know he stayed hurt there his junior year. But I knew he was going to have to run the ball for us this year. Didn't know he would start at the time, but he ended up starting and getting the majority of the carries, and he did. He played through every whistle, played hard for us. Another big thing for us, he played defense, played right linebacker, leader of the defense, made the calls, and he made the reads, and he did a really good job of that. Made a lot of tackles for us. We're going to miss him. He's going to be a hard one to replace. It's not going to be easy. We're going to try to. We'll try our dangest to, but it's not easy losing the seniors we lost. We're going to miss them. I'm around some coaching staffs that they're always like, well, we just get this group out, we'll be better next year. I've heard that a million times, and that's not that way with this group. We're going to miss this group. And we're going to continue to win, in my opinion, but we're going to miss this group. We'll have a lot of hoes to replace, and a bunch of young guys need to step up. But with Styles Hughes, that's a player you want on your team. If we could clone him and put 11 of them out there, we would. I promise you.
Styles, this is not about. This is more about life and football. What does football mean to you?
For me, it was my outlet. That was somewhere where I felt at home. Always, I would be the first one there at practice and the last one to leave every day. Every single day. I'd stay there as long as I possibly could. It was life for me. I fell in love with the sport whenever I was just 9 years old. Fell in love with it. And it's always been there for me. And I know one day that, it won't be. Everybody has that, that reality. But for me, it was more than just a sport. There was a connection there. Something that I always want to be a part of.
And you had a successful year, and I've talked to Coach Vann several times. I was there when he first took the job. We interviewed him. It was a tough year going through a transition from one coach. And you said it, the wing tee to spread you out. What was the toughest? To me, it seemed like you guys had to be pretty cerebral to pick up on Coach Vann's offense that fast.
Yeah, for sure. It took us a couple of weeks just to get it right, but I mean, once we started getting into it, it got easier and easier and easier. It took us well over a month just to get it right. So I mean, the play calls were easier to me than calling the numbers for the gaps. And all that. I would get confused. But with this, like the way we called our stuff was a lot easier, and spreading it out once you start practicing it over and over, it's honestly really easy. I ended up falling in love with it. I'd run spread over anything now. I mean, spread is the way to go for me.
Hey, I'm a Tennessee graduate. We got one of those spread guys up in Knoxville. I'm kind of falling in love with it too. Even though we were 7-6, it's a lot funner losing 45-42 than 7-0 every week. Howie, are you back with us?
I don't know. We'll see.
You sound so much better, Howie. Go ahead, sir.
I'm trying to get caught up. Go ahead, guys.
We were talking about Styles, the football player. We kind of got everybody. You were talking about how Styles played from through the whistle, and that was making my heart beat a little fast.
Yeah. I said Styles, instead of playing to the end of the whistle, he played to the echo of the whistle. Quit. He was nonstop from start to finish. Great defensive player. On the offensive side, he could have easily just got the ball and took it to the house every time. Of course, he had some help on the offensive line too. I'm sure he'd be willing to give credit to the offensive line as well. But defensively, he was in on a lot more tackles than I probably gave him credit for. But he did a great job on the defense as well.
You do what you got when you got a stats man. You gotta. He could have probably checked a couple extra for you too, Styles, but you wouldn't have known that. But he could have gave that to you, Coach. Well, let me go back to Styles for a minute. Have you decided where you're going to school yet, or are you still in the process?
Yes, sir. I have decided. I decided to go to Faulkner University. It's in Montgomery.
Okay. Yeah. What about Faulkner was attracted you down there? First off, Faulkner's a great university. We're friends with Coach Benefield. His son's down there now. I know I've known a couple other people that went to Faulkner. That's a wonderful choice. What first attracted you there?
Well, first off, it's a Christian college. Second, they run the spread offense, which is it's similar to ours. From what I watched some of their games on YouTube from this past year. And a lot of their plays are almost identical to ours, so I can fall into that offense very easily. It's something I'm very familiar with. Another thing is the staff, the teaching, the teachers, the coaching staff, they're all real nice. I love all of them. They seem like they have class, which is something that, it means a lot to me. And another thing is I like how, from what I heard about their practices, it sounds like they work really hard out there. They got work ethic, which is something that I want to be a part of, and they sound like winners. So definitely something I want to be a part of.
That's awesome, man. Coach Vann, as his coach last year, what would you say his strengths are last year, and what could he develop more over the next part of his football career?
So his strengths is he's very smart. He knows the game of football. He learned it quick. Never really had to worry about him, except for on some pass pro stuff. You never had to worry about Styles doing anything wrong. He knows where he's going, knows what he's supposed to do when he gets there, knows what he's supposed to do when the ball's in his hand, or whether he's reading a guard, playing my linebacker. So he's done a really good job doing that. What things he could get better at? It's like things that everyone can get better at. Maybe get a little stronger, faster, quicker with our feet, and just learn the game even more, because you never can have too much knowledge of the game. I think the more knowledge you develop on both sides of the ball, the better you're going to be on that side. I try to learn as much as I can about defense, because on offense, I want to know it. And I think if you're a defensive guy, you need to learn as much as you can about offense, because you don't have to stop them. But Styles has a lot of attributes that will relay over to the college game, and I'm excited to watch him. Looks like I'm gonna have to spend a few Saturdays in Montgomery every now and then and see him play. But he'll get better, and their coaches, they got new coaching staff down there. I actually went there a semester. It's totally different than when I went down there. I think they're on the right track. And I didn't know about it until I went down there and met them, and I'm happy that Brody and Styles both of them decided to go down there.
Styles, what side of the football have they told you where you're going to be playing yet?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be playing running back.
Okay. Is that where you wanted to play, or did you ever give any contentions? I don't care which side I play on.
That's where I wanted to play, and I feel like that's where I can make the most difference. Considering my size, collegiate linebacker is pretty big compared to little old me, little short me. So I feel like I can contribute more on offense.
Howie, in the community of Sylvania, I often talk about small schools, how the community can embrace something like this as a win for the community. What do you think when you see a kid win the Bryant Jordan or succeed, which Sylvania's had great success on and off the field? What does it mean community-wise?
Oh, it's huge. It brings recognition to the community. Just about everybody knows everybody, so they enjoy that. So Styles, I got a question for you. As far as you're going to soccer, was there any other choices that you thought about going to, or any other options?
I thought about trying to walk on at JSU or UAB, but then I really wanted like an actual offer. So I just shot for the first one that I got.
I think Styles locked up on this. He'll unlock here in a second. Styles, if you maybe refresh, if you can still hear us. Maybe I can refresh him real fast. He'll be back. Oh, we must completely drop him. Let me remove him from the stream. Howie, or Coach, while Styles is gone till we get him back, what's been going on in the football program? Y'all are headed to the summer and baseball's around winding down. Right now is the kind of the year where you start really being the focus.
Yes, it's getting that time. We're excited. I mean, feels like yesterday we lost to Piedmont, but it feels like tomorrow we're going to start get ready for next season. Baseball plays in the playoffs this week, and in my opinion, it's always football season. But as soon as baseball season ends, I hope it's 5 weeks from now. But as soon as that ends, it's football season. We're excited about it. We're not doing spring. We're just doing some agility type stuff because we're taking the extra week in the fall. But right now, we're just still in the weight room, still working speed stuff, and just trying to get better and get ready for a tough and fun football season at the same time. So
when baseball ends, the kids kind of become your property until football season. What's the Styles? I'll be right back to you. I'm gonna finish up. What's your summer lifting program, or what are you allowed to do with that?
So we go Monday through Thursday. I don't know. Are you asking what we do?
Yeah.
So we go Monday through Thursday, and we'll bring junior high kids in at 7. We'll let them go at 8:15. Varsity at 8:30 this year, and they'll be done at 10. And then that includes lifting. We'll do some on the field stuff in June, very little, just mainly agility type stuff and individual time. Because I feel like I've been a part of programs that we do stuff on the field team wise all summer, and I feel like we kind of get burned out when it gets towards the end. And last year at Sylvania, we had to do team stuff from the beginning because we was installing so much. And I'm thinking this year we ain't got to do as much on the field, but we just have to work individual drills and get better individually as a player on the field in June. And then July we move on to more team-oriented things, and because we got 7-on-7s and things of that nature. But we're allowed to get on the field with them in the summer. They're allowed to wear helmets in the summer. So we do all that, just trying to get better.
Styles, I got a question about Coach Vann, and we'll pretend like he's not here, so you can just say what you need to say. Was there ever a time in the huddle when Coach was first installing the offense, y'all looked around and went, does anybody know what you're supposed to do right now? Or was there a moment that y'all went, okay, it makes sense a little bit? What was that process?
There was definitely a moment where we didn't have a clue what was happening, but only because, like, this whenever we were first installing, it defeated everything we've ever learned, for one. For two, it was just all completely new. We've never touched spread. My entire life that I've played football, besides this year, I've never ran any spread. So it was completely different. But whenever he did make a play call in a game, I trusted it 100%. I knew it was going to work, without a doubt.
When you and I just went through, I do a local on the radio. I do a local school that went from a wing tee to a spread, and I remember talking to one of the guard. Coach, put this in your mind. I remember talking to one of the kids that played guard for 3 years. He goes, Randall, biggest thing I can't figure out is where am I supposed to line up? For the last 3 years, I've been putting my cleat next to the center, and that's where I started at. And now he wants me 3 yards out. I don't even know where I'm supposed to be at. Was there a process to just learn how to line up correctly?
Yeah, a little bit, because with our running backs last year, you were like lined up as a wing. So with this, you were in the backfield and you were standing up, not playing like a traditional fullback where you're on when you're in a 3-point stance. This is like college, like offense. So lining up was definitely different for our linemen as well, because they got real confused, and I feel like their football IQ wasn't as high as it should be.
Well, they are linemen. We won't talk bad about them, but they are linemen.
Oh yeah, of course. All they've known how to do those 3 years were, down block and pull. That was about it.
Yeah, that's about it. Oh no, they're running the jet. I got to get out in front of the running back.
Right, and make them cut it up.
Coach, that brings up a good point. Howie, I'll come to you next with this. I've always felt like to run your top offense, you have to have kids athletic, but like styles, you have to have kids with a little something up here too for them to be successful in that offense.
I agree. And it kind of, if you ain't got a group of guys that is as smart, that means you have to kind of not do it near as much. So there's not many options on the play. So we're trying to expand a little bit more this year on the offense. But if we can't, we're going to go right back to what we was doing, which we was able to expand a good bit last year, but we lost all them seniors or a good bit of seniors on the offensive side of the ball. And do a little bit different. But to answer your question, I do feel like you got to have some football knowledge, and it does affect what you run on offense when you do that. So we're going to try to be more RPO oriented. We wasn't that much last year. We're going to try to incorporate a little bit more of that this year. But you don't have to be smart. Quarterbacks don't have to be able to read it. Quarterbacks don't have to be able to throw a slant. Quarterbacks don't have to be able to throw a stick. Brody can do that. Brody may not scare you on a run last year. He should have, because the dude was big. He's going to get 3 yards, but he could throw it anywhere he wanted to throw it. And this year, we're going to have a guy that can probably run a little bit better. But you have to see about his arm. So, but we got guys working hard at it. But to answer your question, though, yes, you got to know. And I think that's for a lot of offenses, though. Like, you got to have guys that can learn it to expand on it as you're running 2 plays, But I think we got a group this year, athletically, mentally, going to be capable of running our offense. There may be a time 6 years, 7 years from now, we might not be able to go 4 wide, 5 wide, 2 by 2 like that anymore. We may have to come back to do more 22 personnel, line up in 5's offense. I don't know. I'm always want to do what I feel like our players can do best, though, because that's my job. I'm not recruiting guys in to run my offense. This ain't college, so we have to do what's best for our guys. But I do think the spread's best for what we got right now and the foreseeable future.
I once asked the coaches why he didn't run the football more. It's like, Coach, you've got a great offensive line. Why don't you run more? He goes, go find me a running back, and we will. But, in high school, you're kind of limited to personnel at times. And I've seen schools that were spread that went I formation when they can think of one that just won a state championship 2 years ago, but they have an all-American running back that's been recruited by Georgia and Alabama. And makes a difference when you can change your offense and have those pieces that sometimes you don't have.
Right. I think that goes back to why our formations are the way they are. Like, we can line up in any formation you want to line up in based on our calls. So I'm not going to go into all of it because it'd take an hour and a half. I mean, I would love to if you want to, man. Like we can
get into weekly shows. We might get a little more out.
We can go into like again, we could go in 22 personnel and then being 10 personnel next play, and just by formations being spread and back to more of a tight end wing, tight end sniffer look, and just by what we call the offense. So year to year, we're never going to have to change how we call the offense. We may be in something more 22 personnel this year, maybe more than 11 or 10 personnel this year, more rabbit personnel. I mean, it's whatever. We can do it and we can call it. And that's what I like about our offense. And we're learning it from junior high, even the Pee-wees picking up and trying to do our base stuff and our base formations, which is big for us. And look, I plan on being here for 30 years unless they fire me. So we're trying to teach them young on what we want to do and hopefully move forward.
Anna Vann's done told me you can't leave, so you're going to be there 30 years.
That's right. She's told me that many times. She loves it here just as much as I do. So.
Styles, when you get down to Faulkner, Howie, I'll come to you next. When you get down to Faulkner, are you reporting in August, or are you going to try to get down during the summer?
I think I'm going to report down in August, but I'm still not entirely sure. I may try to go down there during the summer. I haven't entirely made up my mind just yet.
Did you play any other sports besides football?
Of course I did. I played baseball. I just got back from baseball practice.
Yeah, I like that hat. So y'all are in the playoffs right now, but tell us a little bit about the baseball team.
Well, the baseball team, they're very, we got our ups and downs. We're inconsistent, but we have the ability to be really, really good. We're just inconsistent. We have a problem at the plate, hitting, but our fielding is it's pretty solid. Other than that, there's, I feel like our approaches to the plate are not as good as they should be.
That's the reason I hit 179 in high school. Howie, just let you open it up for a few questions to Styles there while your mic's working good. I think your mic was out earlier, but it sounds great now.
Yeah, Styles coach was talking about the different formations that you ran this past year. How did it feel when he had called for the what I call the true spread of 5 wide out, and you had to go out there and you had a linebacker on you? What was your thoughts during that process?
I was gonna, try to take his ankles from him as best as I could. But all I could do. If they tried to jam me, I was gonna just try to get the dude off of me. I mean, there's really not much I could do besides just try to take his ankles from him. That's all I had in my mind, and to do the route as best I possibly could.
Yeah, did you like running the routes? I know you had several catches this year. Did you enjoy being, like, quote unquote, a wide receiver during that time?
Absolutely. I feel like I can contribute pretty good in the pass game, especially out of the backfield. That was probably my favorite. And my favorite play was definitely the screens we had. Those are the best. I love those.
Now, we got a big laugh out of Coach Vann there. What was that about, Coach?
I always told Brody we'd be in quarterback meetings, and we talk about throwing stick, and if we had to throw the swing route, or if we had to throw it to the flat to the running backs. We always joke in the office, like, you got to make sure you put it on. It's almost like handing it off to them. Like, you don't want them dudes to work. You don't want to throw them high or low. You want to put it right there so they don't miss it. So I think a lot of credit goes to Brody. I ain't saying Styles can't catch, but I think Brody put it in the spot a lot of times for them running backs, because that was a point of emphasis. I haven't met many running backs that can catch, to be honest with you. They're special. There ain't many. What is it, Alvin Kamara? There ain't many of them out there. There ain't many Josh Jacobs out there. Styles can't catch. I ain't hating on his catching. I just laugh because me and Brody used to joke about it all the time. We got to make sure we hit them else. them running backs, even Zach, in stride with it.
Those guys that can catch it, they make NFL checks sometimes.
They do.
Stalls,
Big ones.
Stalls, you said you like that. Now, are you working on your hands before you get to Faulkner?
Yeah, Coach
I
Vann.
think my hands are pretty good.
They can catch now. I ain't saying that.
I think my hands are pretty good, honestly.
All right. Howie, go ahead. I had to stir it up since you opened up the can just a little bit.
Boy,
It sounded like in a roundabout way, Coach Vann was saying that Style needed to work on his hands a little bit, but
Well, I thought I'd interpret that for him, so I went ahead and did that.
yeah.
Styles had good hands. I don't think he had a drop this year. I don't, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't think he had a drop. And, I said earlier with the microphone issues and all that, to me, it's
No, he did practice.
a team leader, but he wasn't a vocal leader. He led by his leadership as far as his work ethic on the field. And
That's awesome.
with you being a senior this year, are you helping some of those underclassmen with what they should be doing?
Yes, sir. I feel like I left something behind for them to kind of like a blueprint to how they could be, the future leaders of the program. And there's one that really sticks out to me. His name is Leo. He played the opposite linebacker for me. He played next to me on defense, and I feel like he's going to take that role pretty easily.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Leo had a lot of tackles. He came on toward the end of the year, and I kind of contribute that because at the first of the season, you was getting all the tackles. Then I think film and word got out that you were making tackles, so they were kind of double teaming you, and that opened it up for Leo.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree. And he's going to be a stud. He's going to be a stud.
So, Styles, will you get back at some point to I know you'll be busy, but I always notice on those weekends, if a kid is at Columbia or wherever, he always makes it back to his high school games. But what's it going to be like to go back to Sylvania the first time as a non-player?
I feel like there's going to be some nostalgia, and, some memories are definitely going to come in, and I'm going to be happy for my boys, all the ones I've been playing with since I was, just little, and even the kids I've been playing with since I was on varsity, and, what I left behind for them. So I want to see them succeed, and I'm going to have to make a couple of games for sure.
All right, Styles, I want to hit you up. We got about 10 more minutes. We get off here. I want to throw some stuff at you. First of all, you mentioned that Faulkner was a Christian school and that played part of your decision. What part does that faith base play in your life for you?
Well, every day at 10 o'clock, they have a 30-minute session of chapel. And I feel like that's going to, help me in my faith and just help with my walk with Jesus, And, with that, that's definitely probably the biggest decision. That is the biggest part for me, is that you're going to get a little bit of church every day. You're going to, be able to work on yourself and maybe be able to influence others and help them in their walk. So, you may learn a thing or two whenever you're done there.
So that's you kind of choked me up there, man. That's great. When you get to Faulkner, and what's the thing that you're most look forward to, and what's the thing that makes you feel a little bit apprehensive?
Well, I'm looking forward to just being, just kind of out there, out of the high school life. I feel like there's a little bit more freedom, but I feel like there's a little bit more responsibility to it. Because, you got to keep up with your grades. You got to go to practice. You got to make all those decisions for yourself. Nobody's going to be there, screaming in your ear no more. You got to get your grades up, all that good stuff. So I feel like with that, it's going to help me get a little bit more responsible, more than I am now. And it's going to develop me, into my adult life.
Do you what would you tell, and Coach Vann, I'm gonna ask you this same question. What do you feel is Sylvania's football? Now, what is the legacy of Styles Hughes at Sylvania? What do you want people to remember about you?
The way I treated others.
The way you treated others?
Yes. No matter who they were on the team, I don't care who they were, whether they were a freshman, an 8th grader, a sophomore, junior. I always, out of my day, I always try to talk to them. I want to be friends with everybody. So even whenever I go to class, I try to be friends with as many people as possible, no matter what grade they're in. So I feel like with that brings a lot to my character, as I'm very social.
That's awesome. Coach, what do you think next year when you're in practice and you say, I want this player to run that the way Styles, what is his football legacy at Sylvania?
He never takes a play off. I'm pulling up film now, and you ain't gonna find many plays where he's not giving you everything he's got. He led it that way. He was a little bit of vocal leader, and like you said, he did get around and talk to every player on the team, and all the guys looked up to him. But they understood why he was one of the leaders on the team was because of how he handled himself, how he carried himself on the field, on and off the field. But on the field, I think the biggest compliment you can ever give anybody is that they play whistle to whistle. They never quit. That's something I said at the banquet about these seniors. If I was to ask, when I played, I would want a coach to say that about me. And don't talk about how good I could throw the football or how good I could run the football or how good any of that. Just say I played hard, So Styles Hughes, I can talk about how good he was on the field. I can talk about, how well he ran the football late in the year. He ran it well early in the year, but he just got better and better at seeing and getting the vision. I can talk about him on defense, but I think the best compliment you can give him is that he just never gave up. He gave you everything he had. So.
That's a huge compliment, Coach. I think any player, that's the legacy they want to leave behind, Styles. You should be proud of that, son.
Yes, sir. Man.
All right, Howie Cheney, you ain't asked no crazy questions yet. So before I sum it up, what's your crazy question for the day? Because I know you got one somewhere.
No crazy question, man. Styles is a Coke machine with a head on it. And I'm afraid if he sees me out somewhere, he'd take me down. So I'm not going to ask nothing crazy today. I just want to say congratulations on the scholarship and everything. Wish you the best of luck at Faulkner. It's a great school. My daughter thought about going down there at one time. We went and toured the campus. Wish you the best of luck. And from us here at RiverCity-Media, if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask, man.
Yes, sir. And I really appreciate it from you guys.
We might even snag you into a podcast again after you get down there if Coach will let us while you're down there. So
that's fine. That is fine with me.
Yeah, we want to thank you for your time, Coach. Thank you for letting Styles come on with us too. And Styles, the next 4 years of your life, you said something in the middle when you started this. You can change everything about the future. And I think when I was in college, the one thing I didn't think enough about was I have a 12-year-old daughter now, and I was like, you're already saying it. It's you're going to make a better life down the road for your family, and I respect that. What would you like, closing words? How would you like to sum this up, or what would you like to say about the Bryant Jordan scholarship? Floor is yours, sir.
I'd just like to say that to all the people watching that, never take, a day where you don't try to contact somebody that you rarely talk to. Always make an effort. Talk, say hey. Even if you, walk past them in Foodland or Dollar General, grocery store, Walmart, gas station, make an effort to say hey and just be social.
That's an awesome legacy right there. One more thing we'll close on, Styles. Thank you very much, Coach. As we get closer to the season, we're going to pick up these podcasts a little more so we get on a weekly basis as we go through football season. Styles was our first guest, and of course, what a heck of a guest was to have him. But we're definitely going to bring some players, some coaches, some different looks over the next several months as we increase this podcast.
Yeah, we're excited. Most of all, we're excited about 2022 football season. Tough schedule, but again, we're going to try to win all of them. And we're excited about you guys and going along with us because, I'm thankful for people like you in the media that want to promote not me not this program, but mainly these players because they deserve it. They put a lot of time and effort. They deserve to be promoted. So we're thankful for you guys. And I tell everyone who calls and talks to me from the media, I'm thankful for what they do. I don't want them to ever, ask me some of them ask me hard questions that it's hard to answer sometimes. But with the ones I'm talking about, don't when they ask me about what we do and why we do it, but sometimes. But no, I'm thankful for all the media and what they do for these players all across the state. So thank you guys.
Well, and Styles, I'll tell you, there's thank you, Coach. We appreciate you. There's a lot of people that you've influenced and you don't even know you influenced. I'm 100 miles away from you, and reading your story and talking to Howie and talking to Coach, your story meant a lot to me. And if there's anything us can do, you are the most important part of this, and we thank you for your time, sir. And great story.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
Howie, I'm going to go eat some Mexican or some Chinese food. I don't know what you're going to do, but
I'm fixing to wish Styles best of luck in the baseball playoffs.
there you go.
Be sure to, plate appearance. Be sure to be patient. Don't swing at the first pitch. And go win a state championship for the Rams.
And don't watch Strike 3. No backwards pace.
Hey, let me give you 4 years of being a backup catcher advice. If they throw it in this area over the plate, you're supposed to swing.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. For Styles Hughes, Coach Tyler Vann, Howie Cheney, Randall Cunningham, this has been the Sylvania Rams Football Show. Thank you for your time, and always, always support the athletes.